Hello everyone! In this video, I will show you how I sew a bra cup with a 1 dart without using an overlock machine. For the materials, you will need power mesh, elastic satin or atlas, a lingerie elastic 1 cm wide plush underwire casing, strap elastic 1 cm wide underwires, plastic boning or rigoline, a hook and eye closure 5 cm long and 3 cm wide, 2 sliders 1 cm wide matching the strap elastic, and for rings also 1 cm wide. I will sew the cups from non-elastic lace. The lace width is approximately 20 cm. Place the cup pattern along the scalloped edge of the lace, as shown in the video. Cut out the first piece. After that, remove the pins. Place the piece right sides together. And cut out the second piece. The center bridge and the side band pieces can be cut either from non-elastic lace or from elastic satin, depending on your preference. Using elastic fabric does not really matter, because it will still be reinforced with power mesh. I am using elastic satin. I cut 1 center bridge piece and the side band pieces. The band must be elastic and stretch horizontally. From power mesh, I cut 1 center bridge piece and the side band pieces as well. After cutting, you should have all these pieces ready. On the cup pieces, I trim the seam allowance, leaving 5 mm. Fold the cup pieces wrong sides together in the center, as shown in the video. Place the pattern on top and draw a line 5 mm from the edge. Stitch straight along the drawn line, securing the stitches at the beginning and the end. Trim the seam allowance, leaving about 2 mm. On the pattern side, carefully trim the allowance as well. Turn the cup so that the right sides are inside. Smooth it out and secure the seam with pins. Again, place the pattern on top and draw a line 5 mm from the edge. From the end of the dart, measure up 1.5 cm and mark a new point. This will be the end of the seam. I secure the stitches at the beginning and the end, and sew a straight stitch along the line I drew. I remove the pins and press the seam allowance toward the armhole. Now the seam needs to be secured with a straight stitch, making sure to backstitch at the beginning and the end. I repeat the same steps for the second cup. Next, I begin assembling the band. To do this, I place the bridge pieces from power mesh and elastic satin right sides together. Pin them in place and sew with a straight stitch at the seam allowance, which is 1 cm. I reinforce the satin side band pieces with power mesh. I place them right sides together with the bridge and secure them with pins. I stitch them together on the sewing machine using a straight stitch, always backstitching at the beginning and the end. I trim the seam allowances, leaving about 2 to 3 mm. Then I place the band pieces right sides together and sew them with a straight stitch. I leave a 1 cm allowance at the top and bottom edges, where the underband elastic will be attached. I measure the required length of the underwire channeling tape. I position the channeling tape and stitch it in place with a straight stitch. The stitching line should align with the seam joining the band pieces. I always backstitch at the beginning and end of every seam. I trim the seam allowance so it does not show from under the channeling tape. I also trim the top corner of the channeling tape. Then I attach the channeling tape to the band with a straight stitch. I measure the band length using the pattern. Multiply it by 2 and subtract 10 to 15% depending on the stretch of the elastic. To the final measurement, I add 1 centimeter on each side as a seam allowance for easier attachment. I divide the underband elastic into 4 equal sections. I divide the band into 4 equal sections as well. I superpose the elastic and the band right sides together using the marked points. I sew the elastic with a zigzag stitch. Using a 3.0 width and a 0.0 length setting. Stitching close to the scalloped edge. While sewing, I stretch the elastic, but I do not stretch the band. I trim the excess seam allowance. I turn the underband elastic to the wrong side and sew the next row of stitching. This can be either a 3-2, zigzag, or a 3-step, zigzag with settings 6-1. I apply steam pressing to the band to set and flatten all seams. I also press the cup to give it shape. I pin the cups into the bra cradle, aligning them with the markings. I attach the cup to the band with a straight stitch 1 centimeter from the edge. I make sure to check the seam intersections and ensure there are no puckers or overlaps. From the edge of the channel tape, I measure 1.5 centimeters. 1 centimeter is for the underband elastic that will cover it, and 5 millimeters is the allowance for the underwire movement. After that, I insert the underwire and mark the end of the underwire on the channel tape. Then add another 5 millimeters for underwire movement along the bridge. From this last mark, I measure an additional 2 to 3 centimeters for ease of sewing. 2 pieces of channel tape with markings are required. I place the channel tape on the inside of the cup. At the center, the top of the bridge must align with the upper marking. On the armhole side, the channel tape should stop 1 centimeter short of the cup edge. I secure the channel tape with pins and sew a straight stitch along the left edge. The stitching must align with the seam joining the cup and the band. I trim the seam allowance, leaving 5 millimeters. I fold the channel tape onto the band and sew again with a straight stitch, this time along the right edge of the channel tape. At the end, I stop 5 to 7 millimeters short and backstitch to secure the seam. I trim the corner of the channel tape. I do the same with the second cup. I calculate the length of the underband elastic for the top edge of the band. I measure the length of the upper edge of the cup and the band. From this measurement, I subtract 10 to 15%. Depending on the elasticity of the elastic, and add a 4 centimeters seam allowance. On the underband elastic, I mark seam allowances of 3 centimeters and 1 centimeter. Then find the midpoint between these marks. I find the midpoint of the upper edge and pin the underband elastic to it, right sides together. On the closure side, there is a 1 centimeter allowance, and on the cup side, a 3 centimeters allowance. I insert the side boning into the channel tapes. The length of the side boning should be 1 centimeter shorter than the channel tape. The ends of the side boning, or rigiline, are best heat sealed to prevent them from cutting through the fabric. I attach the underband elastic in the same way as the elastic on the band, using a 3-2 zigzag stitch close to the scalloped edge. At the beginning and end of the seam, I backstitch as usual, and while sewing I stretch the underband elastic. I do not stretch the band. I trim the excess seam allowance so it does not show from under the elastic. I fold the underband elastic to the inside of the band and stitch it with a 3 to zigzag close to the edge of the elastic. I thread the end of the underband elastic through the ring and secure it with a pin. I finish the other side in the same way. I place the bra with the wrong side facing me and sew the hook side of the closure to the right side. I sew the eye side of the closure to the left side. First, I sew a straight stitch to prevent the closure from shifting. Then I stitch a zigzag along the side and through the center of the closure. I attach the eye side of the closure in the same way. First, a straight stitch. Then a zigzag stitch along the side and through the center. I place a piece of strap elastic approximately 10 centimeters long onto the band. The attachment point for the strap is indicated on the pattern. I sew a zigzag stitch with settings 3 mm, 1 mm, with the right needle penetration running along the edge of the strap elastic. I slide on a ring, fold the strap elastic over, and stitch again with a zigzag stitch using the same settings. I trim the excess tail. I measure to lengths of strap elastic, each 40 centimeters long. I thread them through the sliders and secure them with a zigzag stitch set to 2 mm, 1 mm. I trim the excess tail. I thread the strap elastic through the ring, then through the slider, and insert it again into the ring on the cup. I secure the strap elastic with a zigzag stitch set to 2 mm, 1 mm. I repeat the same steps on the other side. I insert the underwires. The shorter end should face the center of the bra. I close the bridge with a zigzag stitch set to 2 mm times 0.5 mm. I trim the tail of the channel tape close to the edge of the bridge. I press the bra thoroughly and the bra is finished. Thank you for watching.